What is happening, fish friends? Welcome to another episode, to a strange episode, something that I don't normally do. We are talking all micro and ultra finesse small lures because after spending a weekend with Jeff and Paul from the Aggressively Average Anglers and Ethan from Fish Anything, they've talked me into doing some more of this ultralight stuff, some BFS stuff I'm going to play with, and that's the whole theme of today. I've got out, I've tested some of this, and it was a lot of fun. Now, I've still got my thoughts on BFS stuff, and I'm going to share that here because, like a lot of you know, I'm kind of against some of it. Some of it I think is completely stupid, but some of it has made sense from day one, and some of it I'm kind of adapting into. So enough yapping, let's get to unboxing and look at this stuff. And this isn't going to be as much of an unboxing because a lot of these I've already got put away. So we've got some hard baits we'll look at, a special package, and my soft bait storage and bag, and that's where we're going to start. This is a bag my guy Philip Cheek sent me quite some time ago when we did the Okeechobee unboxing for Okeechobee Lures special theme. He sent it in this, and I've had it, and it's going to be perfect for all this stuff, my micro finesse, BFS, ultralight stuff. Going to be a lot of fun. So we'll start here. Inside here, I'm not going to show every one of these, but I got a few different colors of a few of the Z-Man micro finesse stuff. A lot of people have asked me to try these, and I thought, I don't know, I've already got TRDs, but of course, hang out with the burly guys and Ethan, you're trying this stuff now. For example, the micro TRD Copper Truce. This is just a tiny little 1.75 inch TRD. So, I mean, as the name says, micro. Do I have a regular TRD? I don't have a regular TRD close, but this is one of the ticklers. On this purple death color is absolutely awesome. Chartreuse and purple. You can see compared to one of these, this thing is 2.75 inches. Look at the difference there. The bulk, tiny. I mean, this guy's just a little finesse deal. Now they've got the little micro finesse heads. I'll show you those in a minute because I've got those stored somewhere else. But anyway, I got some of the Copper Truce, some regular old green pumpkin, hard to beat that, and then one of my other favorite colors, the Deal and the Z-Man Plastics. I absolutely love that. Kind of a green pumpkin with like a bluish, kind of silvery bottom there, very natural looking. Speaking of those little ticklers, I got some of these as well. These are the tiny ticklers, as you can see, are tiny little guys, 1.75 inches, and I do have one rigged up. Let me show you. That is on one of my little tiny homemade Ned rig heads, just the open hook. They've got some micro ones for these. I was just messing around when I got them first, opened them up, but again, just so you can see the size difference here, the micro versus that regular tiny tickler, you can see, or the TRD tickler, sorry, versus that tiny tickler, you can see the size difference. These are itsy bitsy little finesse. This is that smelt color, very natural, kind of glassy bait fish looking color to it. And as a reminder, as we go through these, don't ever store your Z-Man Elastec plastics with other, regular Plastisol plastic baits because they will melt them and eat them. Now, we're going to look at some of the hooks later, but this is another way you can rig these on little Ned rig heads. But I've got some little micro finesse Texas rigs, and I'll show you the hook and everything that I use. But look at that. Little tiny Texas rig you can flip around with a little lightweight. And last up, I got some of that Hot Snakes color, kind of a green pumpkin chartreuse. It's got some bluish and black flakes in it. Cool color. I also grabbed some of these baby ballers. So this is kind of like the, the Bobby Garland, those shad-shaped lures. Y'all remember those for like crappie and stuff. This will look very similar. We used to throw these back in the day, but it's got a darkish black kind of green pumpkin top, chartreuse belly, and it comes out to just this one little, if I can get it to focus there, one little ball tail, and you can see how much action is in that thing from just barely moving it. Again, number of ways you could rig this. I'm thinking this on a chatterbait, and I'll show you that here in a second. But you could also throw it on one of these little Z-Man heads. That's the pink head there, and I think that's a 1/16 ounce. That head on there, that looks pretty cool. Bouncing that around, hopping that around pads or grass lines and such. I guarantee crappie will crush that. That's the pink and white color, coconut ice, they call it. And then, of course, I grabbed the all white pearl, always a great color for crappie, bluegill, really anything. Just like a little, 1 inch or 2 inch white twister tail grub. Kind of the same thing here, just a little white bait fish looking deal. Next up, also had these in mind for a chatterbait, but I was just running these on a jig head, testing it the other day, and these look pretty cool as well. Do I have one rigged up? The shad fries, and this one's a little bit interesting. This is the one I had rigged up because it's this little tiny bait fish profile, but it's like the Zacho. So if y'all know, like the larger trailer for a chatterbait, the Yamamoto Zacho has these little segmented pieces so this tail can move back here, and look at all the action that little thing has. It's got like a little boot tail back there, little kind of like stabilizer point up at the top of it. It's just this little micro bait fish profile. I put it on one of these little round ball jig heads. I forget if this is Ryugi or decoil. Again, I'll show you these here in a second, but man, that little thing just swimming that around, that looks like a tasty little tiny baitfish morsel. So that is the smelt color, kind of that black silver, looks like a little baby shad. Awesome. Of course, I also got the white, that pearl color in those will be good. This color, electric chicken, is awesome. Chartreuse and pink. And then that purple death that I talked about earlier in one of those. Oh, look at that swimming around. Okay, a couple more here I got to try. I got some of these little micro goats. So the regular goat, or the, I forget which one it is, the mid-size, 3-ish, 3.5-inch, whatever goat, is awesome on the back of a buzzbait, like as your buzz frog type trailer. These, you break the little back end apart, and there it is. It's got the two little kicky feet, just like the regular goats, but it's micro sized, little tiny. I think all these are like 1.5, 1.75 inches for all of them. That's what this is. This is smoke purple. See kind of that darkish smoke purple black flake. This color I really like, called bloodworm. It's like this tannish color, light brown with green, red, blue, bunch of different flakes in it. That's actually a really neat color. And then I also got some blue glimmer sparkle. I remember we had some twister tails back in the day we would throw that looked like this that were awesome, so it reminded me of those. Grab that color. Now, very similar to that little shad worm that looked kind of like that Zacho. These are called stingers. This is the pearl color. These are actually 2-inch, but you can see it's got a whole lot of action because of the little longer tail. So it's kind of like those, the Bobby Garland mixed with the shad deal, like the one with just the ball on it. They kind of mix those two together and you get this thing. So I thought, again, on the back of a chatterbait, on just a little jig head. I don't know, number of uses for them. They're new. I wanted to try them, so I grabbed a few. The pearl, again, that purple death, really like that color, especially for clean water. And then coconut ice, that white and pink, I think will be a really good one around here too. Now, last up for the Z-Man microplastics, I had to get some of their little larva, hellgrammite, insect larvae looking. I don't even know what exactly this is supposed to mimic. Some sort of larva. This is red. It's some little bug-looking critter. I don't know. Some, some people say that bluegill, crappie, a lot of those panfish type stuff really eat more bugs than anything, which is, it makes sense. Fudge stripe, I've got a green sunfish over there, and he absolutely loves when I throw in a dozen crickets up on top. He absolutely demolishes those. So bug lures, yeah, makes sense. I also got the all black. Doesn't matter what color of water you have, clean, clear, dirty, muddy, all black is always a good choice. And then motor oil. Talking about old school colors that used to be awesome. A little motor oil, why not? Okay, now as for the other plastics, of course, like I said, I got to hang out with Ethan, who is the owner of Mule Fishing. I got some of his stuff. Some of this is from Bait Finesse Empire. Some of this stuff I already had. He had sent me a long time ago, and I never really used them because I don't fish the micro stuff enough. And up there, he threatened to beat me up, so I've got to use them more. Anyway, the jackworm. So this is 3.9 inches. It's just like a regular little curly tail worm, but these are an Elastec material. So this is, really that super finesse. You could drop shot it. You could throw this on a little Texas rig. A bunch of different things that you could do with this. I like those. That's kind of the bridge between super finesse regular tackle getting into BFS, and there's a number of things you can do with little, worms and creatures and stuff like this. Also the Mule Minnow 2.2 inch. I was messing around with these the other day just to show you here to get a little different look, because again, I was thinking some little mini chatterbait trailers. Otherwise, you could leave it whole. These are how big? 2.2 inches. This little straight minnow tail. Drop shot it. You could put it on, like a little Ned rig, bounce it around. Number of stuff you could do. I just pinched the top, like the little head thing off there for this, kind of like a little white leech looking thing. I don't know. That's pretty neat. A number of different ways you could fish this little thing. Oh yeah, and did I tell you? They're like that same Elastec type material. So super durable, going to stand up. Doesn't, it's not going to be a one fish wonder type deal, but still, look at that, ton of action. I've got some of the little tiny donkey tails. So these, there's going to be a number of uses for these. This is probably my favorite out of the whole, deal of the mule stuff that I was looking at, are these little donkey tails. They've got a larger size. I don't have any of those, but they've got this little mini size, which is 1.6 inches. Yeah, just a little tiny dude on the back of some little jigs that I have. Chatterbait trailer on some of these little tiny swim bait heads. This thing I can just see catching all kinds of stuff in that little profile. And again, that Z-Mani Elastec, type material stuff. Those are going to be great. And then I got some of these after watching Jeff catch, almost a 4-pounder on one of these on a little BFS Texas rig when we were up in Michigan, off these little burrow bugs. So this one is called Ranch Hand, all brown, and this one I've got rigged up on a BFS I'll show you in a second. And then this one I really like, which is Rodeo Clown. So it's got like kind of this orangish color with a June bug purpley top. That's probably my favorite color out of all these that I've seen of his stuff. Rodeo Clown is a cool one, kind of that, again, 1.8 inches, kind of that June buggy, Bama bug type deal. Also over at Bait Finesse Empire, I got some of these things from them. Jackal, the Baby Dragon, which is a little dual color. It's a little craw type bait. So it's got like the little antenna there, a little flappy paddle tail type of feet on it. This, I mean, you could even rig on just like a regular Ned rig, but at 2 inches, that's going to be a good versatile little bait. And then some of these things they call, what are they? It doesn't say. I don't remember. Anyway, it's like a little bug looking thing with a paddle tail on the back of it. It reminds me of like the Strike King. I forget what those are. Kind of the body with the, they're like a crappie bait with that paddle tail deal there. Something kind of like that, but it shows them for like bream, crappie, smaller stuff at 1.5 inches. That's going to be another cool one. So that's it for the plastics. I lied, sorry. Also from Bait Finesse Empire, I grabbed some of these looking things because they are so daggum realistic looking. Talk about a realistic little glass minnow, tiny baby baitfish looking thing. I guarantee the crappie will crush this. And they have this reflective like foil inside. So even as it flashes and moves, you can see that coming through, ting, 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 like a little flashing beacon. These are not Elastec, just a regular plastic, but I thought nose hooked, just popping that around, I bet we'll get something to eat it. So I grabbed that darker silver color and then this little white kind of pearly color still with that flashy deal in it. Those are pretty cool from Fish Arrow, 1.5 inch, Slim SW. Flash J, I don't know. So that's all in the big main compartment here. Now I've got a couple side compartments. As I said, I also ordered some terminal tackle because with all these plastics, I don't really have all the hooks and stuff for this. So I got, this is what Jeff and Paul recommended, are these little Hobbit hooks. They've talked about these on their channel before, made by Ryugi, which they have some of my favorite wacky hooks. Ryugi and Decoy make some of the absolute best. But they've also got these little hooks. So again, speaking Ryugi and Decoy, two of my favorites for wacky, look like going to be two of the best for these little BFS hooks. And these are just tiny, as you can see here, little tiny EWG hooks. Now these Hyper Minis, I got these on Bait Finesse Empire, a little bit heavier wire, and it's going to be really hard to tell here, but you can see just a little bit, both a size 6 hook. You can see these are slightly heavier wire. Now I don't know how much of an issue I'm going to have bin and out stuff, but just for a little extra insurance, I did want to pick up these, and this is what I rigged up. I really like this for kind of my flipping, quote unquote, Texas rig type setup BFS that I've got going here. Hopefully these will work. If I want something a little, you know, a little more finesse, if it's, you know, a real finicky bite, or I'm having trouble getting, you know, that hook to drive through, I'm using 5-pound fluorocarbon with this setup. So hopefully that'll be enough. I'm going to mess around. I'm still in the learning stages of BFS, so I'm sure all the BFS nerds out there are just making fun of me. But anyway, I also got some size 4, some size 8, so just a few packs of hooks there. And then some of these from Coltiva, for any crankbaits or anything that I didn't have a split ring on, these little tiny size 0 snaps with a swivel built in. So if I'm throwing like a little spoon or anything like that, it's always good to have a swivel because it can give you some pretty gnarly line twists. So I got to grab a thing of those. And then in the front here, I've got some gulps. I think these were from Chris. Chris, did you send me these? I think you and your sons picked these out, Chris Morgan. These are some of the Gulp Alives little 1-inch minnow. I know a bunch of people use these for crappie and bluegill and such. Give some of those a try. I haven't fished those actually. I've fished like the nuggets and that stuff. But and this was from, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget your name. You're in Ohio. You're the plumber. You sent me the old man spinnerbait, the old Tequila Sunrise worms, and he sent me this. And this thing works perfect for all of my terminal stuff. So this was from a local guy, sent me some of these 1/8 and 1/16, just your regular ball head jigs. I also got some weights here, some little tiny tungsten 1/16 ounce weights, and some itsy bitsy little 1/32. Look how small those are. Tiny, tiny little tungsten, good and compact. So I've got those down here. And these 4 deals, these are those ball heads. I forget the name of the company. I think it was Decoy again, but these little tiny finesse ball heads, and the hooks on these are razor, sticky, sharp, super good hooks. Little tiny ball head. They're in 0.9 gram. I always cut off the top and throw that in my terminal tackle box, so I remember 0.9 gram and then 1.4 grams. So that's 1/32 and 1/20 weight. Little tiny guys. Those are going to be great for little bluegill crappie. I also bought some of the Mule, which are like your Ned rig head. These look giant compared to those. That's only a little 1/16. Good sharp hooks. It's got the wire keeper on there for that Elastec type material on the Mule baits. And what's nice is each one of these is its own little individual deal, so they're not getting mixed up. Also got some of these in 1/32, some white there, little ones. And then down here, your little tiny 1/64. Now, to me, this is where BFS gets dumb. I'm not going to throw these super little tiny things on BFS. I know the BFS guys are going to go, well, I can throw 1/80. I've got a super ultralight spinning reel that I'd rather throw this stuff on, and I was flinging it. I'm guaranteeing I can throw it farther on an ultralight spinning reel than I can a BFS deal. But still, I think there's room for both in your finesse stuff. Then I also got a couple packs of the Z-Man. This is in 1/20 again. Just a tiny little, this is what's they recommend for those micro plastics I was showing you. Just a tiny, tiny little Ned rig head there. Again, good super sharp hooks on them. You need that for those little mouths that are just grabbing those plastics. Then I also got some of these so I can try a free rig. BFS free rig, I forget the company, I just tore the thing off. These are a little 1/16 ounce free rig weight. So we can try that on some of those as well. And then some swim bait heads. These are the Z-Man heads I got in the pink and chartreuse, 1/32 and is it 1/16? Yeah, 1/16. So 1/32 and 1/16 there. You can see the size difference, small and the larger. And again, all these have really good, super sharp, sticky hooks. Wire keeper, and it's got some of that lead on there as well. So swimming some of that stuff, those should work great. My man over at Pig Jigs sent me a little gift pack here. Good guy. We talked back and forth. Super nice as can be. And he's got some awesome stickers there from Pig Jigs. Okay, so he sent me some of the Neds. We were talking back and forth when I did some of these. These are just a little bit different look than mine. But this is your larger, now I say larger, kind of Ned rig style. So these are 1/10. I don't have any of the ones I do around here. I just do like a few wraps of a real finesse tiny cut. Now he does more of like your actual finesse jig, ties it all up, and these look great. Hit him up if you want to buy some of these. I think he's got, does he have a website? Oh yeah, Debo, I guess you should read. Pigjigs247.com. He does great work, good dude. And look at these. These are the aggressively average angler colors there. Black, purple, chartreuse. That dude looks awesome. This is little, I think he calls them the Nedden head. This is the purple and brown, so you're like your PB&J. And then also the Truce. So he's color matching the Copper Truce and Z-Man, which is cool. Throw a little Z-Man TRD on there. Oh yeah, those look awesome, my man. Now you thought those were cool. He also does the micro. So is that the aggressively average micro? I don't know if he worked with them to do this or not, but either way, super cool looking. Little tiny, I don't know if those are the mule heads on that or what, or if he makes his own. Those are really cool. Look at those colors. Put one of those little good sharp hooks, put one of those little plastics on there. And then also sent me one of those in the brown and orange, what's he call it? Pond Slayer. I'm not a huge like brown orange lure thrower. Early in the year, I think that would be good. Maybe all year. I don't have confidence in that color. Those look great though. Now these I will definitely be throwing. American Shad and then the Mud Monster. So this is a little micro spinnerbait. Does it say? Okay, 1/16 ounce BFS spinnerbait. And this is where I think the BFS stuff can be fun. It's like your regular tackle, just smaller than you would normally throw. And for BFS early, I said small crankbaits and stuff, little spinners and stuff like this. I said I think it could be awesome and a lot of fun on it. I was throwing an inline spinner, 1/16 and a 1/8. A lot of fun for that. But for like a 1/84 ounce little jig, I don't get the point of it. But anyway, for something like these, I think the BFS is going to be a lot of fun. And that dude is awesome. Black, purple. He's got those electric chartreuse eyes in there. Great job on that one. And then if you want the natural look, really like that one, American Shad. Then last up, he's got what he calls elated. This is the gill color, and this is his little micro chatterbait. Now, I got some of these from Z-Man. He's also making his own, and that dude looks awesome. You can see all these hand-tied. He's doing all that himself. Good sharp hook on it. That one will be fun as a 16th. An 8th ounce there. You can see 8th ounce little mini chatterbait. That'll be a lot of fun. If y'all watched the video of me throwing that jack one, that was a 1/8, and that was a blast. Let's take a look at a couple of the combos. So this is the SLX BFS. I've had this for quite some time. Messed around with it a little bit early last year. Threw it at the end of last year. Caught a couple on an inline spinner. But this is the St. Croix Mojo Bass. Now this rod was newer. I got this one for the trip up there to Michigan. This is a 610 medium light moderate fast. So it's rated for lures 1/8 to 7/16. I was throwing that little 1/8 ounce Jackal chatterbait on it. This is 4-pound fluorocarbon line, and this is one of the little Z-Man finesse chatterbaits. Only thing I don't like is it doesn't have a keeper. I wish it had a little soft plastic keeper on there. So we'll see how well it stays on. It swims good, looks awesome in the water. I put one of those little Z-Man plastics on the back. Had a bunch of action on it, but the place that I was fishing it here at my home place was really grassy, so it didn't work out that day. But this cool looking little setup. I don't know if y'all follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this, but I noticed my BFS reel has a crack in it already. No clue what happened. Took it out on my kayak here at my home lake, felt a little sharp piece. Actually had to cut a little bit off because it was sticking into my skin, but yeah, the handle side plate there, as you can see, has a crack. It's too bad from Shimano. It must have been some sort of factory defect. I never dropped it, kicked it, especially the handle side. I mean, it's going to land on the handle before, you know, it lands on that side. So I don't know, really weird. That stinks, but I got this overseas from Japan, like I said, I don't know, over a year ago. So I'm not even going to try to get it replaced. We'll fish it, and if it blows up, well, then I guess you'll see the results. The second combo, so this is the new one to the lineup. So this is the Dobbins rod. This is the one that I've had. I bought this for originally for that SLX was throwing it. I've since switched this one over because it's got a little bit more of a faster tip to it, a faster action. So this is the SUF 700C. It's the Sierra Ultra Finesse casting combo. So 1/16 to 5/16, 2 to 8 pound line. I put some 5 pound fluorocarbon on here. And this is the new Arc Gravity BFS. I had a lot of people recommend this one. Got my hands on one of these, and it is a really pretty looking little reel. I did my my review of the Arc Gravity 5, which was a surprisingly good reel because reels are new from Arc. They've done, you know, rods for quite a while, but I'm really liking the little finesse reel. Like I said, I put 5 pound fluorocarbon on here, and this is those decoy, those slightly larger hooks. Had some sand and stuff on it from being out on the garage floor, but this is those little burrow bugs with one of those size 6 slightly heavier wire decoy hooks. Again, razor sharp needle points on them with a little 1/16 ounce weight. So I think this is going to be fun to mess around with. Like I said, this is what Jeff was throwing when he caught that 4-pounder up there in Michigan. Made me look stupid as I was throwing a frog and missing a bunch of fish. But anyway, throwing one of these around, I think that'll be a lot of fun around here, messing around with that. Testing out the Arc BFS reel, and then the rod, like I said, I've already had that. But this thing will be awesome, too, for little crankbaits, which you'll see here in a second. I've got a few things. If I put mono on this, you could throw little topwaters with it. Walking bait, that's what I was doing up there in Michigan. Worked awesome for that. Number of things you can do, so I'm excited to play with that combo more. And last up, so this is the Okuma Cymar. This was a special edition, limited edition green they did. I originally got this. It's a little 500 size. I got it for ice fishing, but I've already got enough ice fishing combos. This had just been sitting on the shelf, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to get a spinning rod to go with it. I like that Dobbins Sierra so much. I got a Dobbins Sierra spinning version of it. So this is the 700 7-foot spinning. So this is the trout and panfish version, one piece, 2 to 6 pound line, 1/32 to 3/16 ultralight fast action trout and panfish. So I was throwing a little 1/32 the other day, just testing it out on one of those mule heads and one of those little Z-Man, I forget what these things are called. Again, good sharp little hooks. That's always important to me. This is 4 pound fluorocarbon to a 6 pound braided leader. Now this is the Bait Finesse Euro tackle. I don't remember. I'll get the box here in a second and show you, but super tiny. I mean, this stuff is tiny thread, 6 pound ultralight setup braid, and that is awesome. Going to that little leader, it slung this thing a mile. Here it is. There's the box of it. Make it happen. It says Euro Tackle Micro Finesse Braid, 6 pound. Look at the diameter of that, 0.065 millimeter. Holy smokes. So this will be really fun for crappie, beluga. I really want to do more catch and cooks. I want to catch more of those, fillet up some fish, do some recipes, because they were delicious eating those up in Michigan. Okay, and to round this off, I've got a new Busby, actually. The Birdly guys were nice enough to let me borrow one of these to test out, since I've never owned a single Busby. First up, probably my favorite little Ultra Finesse jig. I caught an almost 5-pounder off this exact one. It was a green pumpkin. This is the beluga color. But this is the Kitech Mono Spin Jig. I had a little tiny craw on the back of it. Super cold winter day. Talk about downsizing, and catching an almost 5-pounder on this was an absolute blast. But little tiny Ultra Finesse jig, 3/16 ounce. Throwing this around on BFS will be awesome. That's one of those little donkey tails on it. Swimming that around, hopping that around. Those things are great. Also one of those rigged up in the pink. You can see with the skirt there, and that's that electric chicken pink and chartreuse on there. I really like the look of that. I ordered a couple. So these are Strike King. This is their little micro jerkbait. Just went for sale. New to the market. I don't know how well these are going to do. They're quite light, but we'll see what the swimming action is. Then this is a Daiwa, the Dr. Minnow jointed. So it's a 2-piece. Probably more of a trout lure type deal, but we're going to try that out. Now, talk about old school. I went and got in my old tackle box. These are all the original floating Rapala minnows that I used to throw as a kid. Had a whole bunch of these. All these are from my old tackle box. But these little tiny minnows like this, man, we used to catch the heck out of stuff on these. So drag these out, throw those back in there. You can see all organized nicely. I got one of these. I forget what the name of it is. Also got this from Bait Finesse Empire, but it's like a little lipless deal. It's got kind of like a real hard plastic tail on it. I don't know. It looked cool. We'll give it a go. Couple mini poppers. This one, you're going to see one like this, a video coming up very soon. This is the Rebel Pop R, but it's the little teeny tiny Pop R. As you can see there, Debo finger, it's 2 inches long. And then this one is a Strike King one. So same thing, about 2 inches there. Love that sexy shad color. These are some of those little Z-Man chatterbaits, so that's what they look like without anything on them. I just took the plastics off and threw those in here. I've got a couple tiny walking baits. This was the one you saw me catch on this. This is the Head and Zara Puppy. This is how I learned to walk a walking bait, like one of the hardest ones to learn on because it's so small. But throwing that on a little spinning rod, I used to walk these around. And then also got this one, the Strike King like micro dog or bitsy dog. So it's like the KVD big sexy dog, but it's a little tiny one. And then I also got a couple of these ARC crankbaits because this is what I really thought BFS would be fun for. Some of those balsa cranks that are super light, you know, hard to cast. Some little tiny crankbaits like this. We're going to give these a throw on it, and I bet we'll be able to find some crappie and bass on those. So that's the hard baits. That's the whole conglomeration of this stuff. So I want to hear from all of you now. Comment below and let me know, out of all this, the new micro BFS ultralight stuff, what do you want me to throw in? If there's something out here, if there's something super simple, you know, just a 1-inch twister tail grub, anything that you all want to see, comment below. I wanted to get into some of this more. It's not going to be like full time, like I've switched over to only finesse stuff, but I want to sprinkle it in. Like I said, I want to do more catch and cooks because fresh fish is really hard to beat. So comment, let me know. Now, today's subscribed fishing friend is my guy Adrian. You can see there he commented on the one where I was using that little tiny jackal chatterbait. He said, a mule fishing aggressively anglers super fishing collaboration. Yes. It was a lot of fun meeting those guys, and like I said, they kind of poked me to do a little bit more of the ultra finesse stuff, and it was a lot of fun up there doing that because on a tough day of fishing, they were catching the heck out of stuff. Crappie, bluegill, bass, just having fun. And listen, I'm not a trophy angler. I'm not going to brag about I'm the guy in the room that always catches the biggest fish. I want to go out and have fun. It's therapy. It's, you know, my way to get away from all the crazy, hectic, depressing things that can happen. You go out there on the water and clear your head. That's what fishing is to me, having fun, meeting people, having a good time, and enjoying nature. So listen, comment below. Let me know what you want me to throw. All kinds of stuff out there, I know, but this is my start to it. I think I got a decent head start, but I got to edit. Thanks for watching. Love y'all. Until next time.